SSE, it's Jonathan Agger here for Pro Boxing Fans. I'm joined by promoter Kalle Sauerland at the first Wasserman Boxing press conference here in London ahead of your first show on Saturday night. Kalle, how are you?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's great to have Eubank on this fantastic platform. It's great to be working with Sky Sports and with Boxer in the lead up to this, and it's we've done many Sky shows over the years, and obviously there's been tagged as a new era. I don't make too much of that. I think Sky's doing fantastically in terms of boxing, and this will continue their great work. They've got some great names on the platform, Eubank, Josh Taylor, it's going to be an interesting night on Saturday night. We don't know how the last months have affected Eubank in the build-up. It has probably been, I can't empathise with someone who's been through what he's been through, and on top of that, he had the whole COVID situation. He had a very bad bout of COVID, and so he's had those torrid months behind him. So Saturday is a challenge in itself, as beyond who the opponent is or the stage is, and he's had to go through that challenge. So that's going to be quite an emotional night.
Kalle, for those that don't know too much about Wasserman Boxing, just talk us through them, obviously acquired Team Sauerland, and the stable you've got.
Yeah, obviously Team Sauerland's been promoting around the world for the last 30 years. In March we agreed a deal to join Wasserman Boxing. There is acquired by Wasserman. Wasserman is the largest sports agency in the world, 1,200 employees, 100 Premier League footballers, many NBA stars, home of amazing sporting talent, and this is their big move into boxing. They've been involved in the past sort of managerial roles with George Rose, Anthony Ogogo. Fantastic people behind it, absolutely fantastic from top to bottom. It's a great place. We feel super at home, and the most important thing is this is one of the largest sports businesses in the world backing boxing, and that's fantastic. It's fantastic for the sport, and it brings that extra bit of professionalism into the business, which helps our sport, at every level.
Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr is the standout name. Who else do you think we should keep an eye on from your stable?
No, Eubank Jr, there's a few standout names. You've got Filip Hrgovic, El Animal at heavyweight. You've got Myris Breedis, who just won the World Boxing Super Series. So there's certainly a few standouts. In terms of future talent, look, in Germany, you've got Abbas Baru, who was silver medalist at the World Championship Amateurs. Great German talent coming through. You've got Sophie Alish, female in Germany. But there's lots. Dennis Radovan is in the top 10 of the world rankings. Leon Bunn. List goes on and on. In Germany, Vincent Feigenbutz, probably the biggest name in German boxing at the moment. Which is so looking for that superstar right now in Germany again. Not superstar, but a world champion in Germany. Germany's without a world champion for the last couple of years, which is unheard of in Germany. So that's going to be a real interesting time. We've announced today a big partnership with Probellum in Germany, which is very interesting. And in the UK, signed Josh Kelly, who was a big name at Sky for the last couple of years. Had obviously that disappointing loss, but he's such a talent. Did that fight come at the wrong time potentially? But you can only learn from that, and he'll be back, and we're looking forward to that. Nathan Gorman, big heavyweight contender, fantastic boxer, great guy as well. You've got Harlem Eubank, we signed a spate of them, so to go through all of them would take me quite a long time. But
it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's a really exciting stable. Also on the females, Chloe Watson's joined us from Hatton's Gym. So there's lots and lots of talent there. And it's we've got Scandinavian fighters, we've got Russian fighters, Latvian fighters. All from all over the world, and it's a very mustn't be seen as just a UK promoter. That's very much interesting for us at the moment, of course, but but we also look at, last week we promoted in Austria, next week we're promoting in Latvia, this weekend we're in London, of course, which is great when you promote in a city where you can almost walk to the arena. That's lovely. I saw 4.5 miles from home. I don't know if I can walk 4.5 miles. I've walked 4.5 miles after a show, not finding a car, but yeah.
Kalle, Chris Eubank Jr. is back against late replacement in Anatoly Muratov, who's ranked WBA 7. So, should Chris get through Saturday night, what's your plans with him? Are you looking to get him out before the end of the year? Obviously, names like Liam Williams has been mentioned. What can you tell us?
Well, I think we've got a date in December. Liam Williams, fantastic fight. There's other good fights out there as well. There's, a lot of people talk about Billy Joe. I think it's very unrealistic for this year. Golovkin signed up to fight Murata, but Murata, Golovkin, Saunders, Liam Williams, Andrade. Those are big names, big fights, and in December. But we got that date, but we're not looking past Saturday. Of course, as a promoter, of course, those discussions with all those names have been ongoing. So we'll be moving very fast.
What do you expect Muratov to bring as a challenge to Chris Eubank Jr. on Saturday night?
Well, I also a little bit in the unknown here. We know he's a tough German Kazakh. A Kazakh, as has one of the best boxing schools in the world. Number 7 in the world, was training for another fight. He's been pulled in here. Was on as a standby. We're used in boxing to have injury issues last minute. We're to add to that list now, COVID. It's not that Elbiel was injured; he got COVID end of last week, and wish him a speedy recovery. But that is the nature of the game at the moment. So it's like we're good that we had the replacement there, but it doesn't make life easier for Chris. I mean, he's okay on paper. Elbiel was 15, and this guy's number 7. Muratov's number 7. So you could argue it's an upgrade. I wouldn't say that. I think Elbiel was a very good opponent, but it doesn't make it easier for Junior. It makes it trickier. He's sparring in for Elbiel. They've obviously copied the style. They've looked into that fight. This guy's a different type of opponent. It's different height. So he's going to have to adjust. But at the same time, Muratov's got his work cut out for him because he was training for another opponent as well. So it's a bit of an unknown, and it's one of those banana skins we just can't afford to slip up on. I think, like I said before, I think it'll be quite an emotional night given the background and the build-up to the fight. So I'm hoping that we don't get any major upsets on Saturday, but I'm not expecting any. And like I said, there's a plan in place.
Kind of just a couple more, because I know we're getting late here, so just a few more. I wanted to touch on your stable. Maris Bradis is fighting in a few weeks, I believe October 16th. What's the plan? I mean, obviously, Lawrence Okoli did win the other night. He wants unifications. Is that a realistic one next, should Maris Bradis come through?
I don't see why not. He wants it. Maris wants it. Maris even sent his trainer over to watch the fight. And, Eddie and me have a history going back to when Eddie started, 2013, 12. With Kessler Froch too, was one of the first fights we made together. So we put on big fights, and over the years made many big fights together, and this would just add to that list. So I don't think it's any bigger than some of the big ones we've made, but we've got to go out and make it. So, he's called him out. Maris has sent his trainer over, so the fighters won it, and it's down to me and Eddie to go and work out a deal, but don't see any reason why not. I think the fight would probably take place in Latvia because Maris sells out a big arena there. It's a decent economy there. It's not selling out.
Place as well.
It's not selling out at a place where the prices are low. It's good revenues there. So I think the fight naturally would take place in Riga, unless there's an interesting offer from the UK. I can't really judge that. Lawrence hasn't. He's been on big stadium fights like the weekend, but it's now I think this is a fight that brings him to another level. So I can understand why he wants it, and like I said, Maris wants it too. So
And Filip Hrgovic was back in some fashion the other week in Austria, really showed his devastating power. What's the plan for him? I know he's looking for that IBF final eliminator. Has there been any progression? How do you see it playing out for Filip?
Yeah, well, I mean, that fight will take place before the end of the year. We're actually working on it at the moment. Going to wait for the IBF to basically go through the rankings again. And hopefully this time someone in the top 15 will say yes. It's like having a marriage proposal 14 times and saying no.
Imagine that.
And 14 different ladies. So yeah. So hopefully we find someone in that top 15 who does accept the challenge, and then Filip's very confident. We're very confident that he becomes mandatory challenger to the winner of Usyk versus Joshua.
And two more, Kalle. Obviously, we saw the heavyweight belts change hands on Saturday night with Anthony Joshua losing to Oleksandr Usyk. What did you make of the fight and the potential of a rematch?
I thought the fight wasn't a surprise. I think that it was a battle of, it was always going to be a battle of the puncher versus the technician, and the technician won. He was the one who was able to implement his game plan better. I think the rematch, people were saying, he's got two different strategy and there, but no, there is no strategy. You're not going to outbox Usyk. Come on, I mean, let's dream on, right? It's not going to happen. So experts who are saying he's got to change his strategy is complete nonsense. Yeah, I think Rob said some pretty good words at the presser. He said, it's not the drawing board. We got to go in, work out that we bring that right hand quicker after the left hand's thrown. That is basically it. Not saying it's a mental block, but it does seem to be that AJ isn't throwing the right like he used to. He's not letting go of the shots, and maybe that's something that they can work on in training. Because it's when he was doing it, he was having success in the middle rounds. But Usyk is the master of, Joshua said after the fight, rides punches. Yeah, not only does he ride punches better at that level, but he's also able to, he has footwork. It's not just his dancing that we all love to see and laugh at and think it's funny and whatever, but he is fantastic. He has fantastic ring craftsmanship. When he gets hit, he knows how to move out of the danger zone. And that's something they look at, and how can they cut that off? And I think that's really all that's required. And if he can put that phase of the middle rounds and extend it into the later rounds, I think that's where they can have success. But for me, it was a 60-40 favourite Joshua in the first fight, and I think that's a 60-40 favourite Usyk in the second fight. I don't make him a write-off like a lot of people have, and I don't make this as the biggest upset like some people have. It's boxing, and guess what? It's a great advert for the sport. It's top-level boxing, and it's a fight where you don't know who's winning or losing.
Another fight I'm sure Filip will have his eye on is on the winner of Fury and Wilder next week. What's your thoughts on the fight itself, Kalle?
I just think that Tyson's going to do what he did in the second fight and win in style. I don't know what Wilder can do differently. Yeah, of course, he's got that chance of throwing the right and landing it and winning by a knockout. I just don't see the result going any other way. Just can't see it. One carve out, always need a little carve out in there. One carve out is, of course, they've been out the ring for that long. Has that affected Tyson more than it's affected Wilder? I personally, knowing Tyson, I don't think so, but I don't know. Can't answer that.
Well, Kalle, look forward to Wasserman Boxing's first show on Saturday night at the SSE Arena with Chris Eubank Jr, and hopefully we'll catch a word after.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.